Hello movie fans, thanks so much for clicking on an episode of Side Flick. My name is Chris. We've got a lot of movie news to talk about here today. Some of the things we're going to be discussing here is not only do we have the titles for Knives Out 2 and Paddington 3, we also got here more first looks at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, particularly one of the villains that I think is underrated. Jason Blum pretty much confirming Halloween Ends will not be the final Halloween film. That Ezra Miller drama, that along with so much more. So I'm going to need you guys to give me your opinions with everything we discuss here today. You guys are absolutely the best for taking time out of your day to just talk some movies with me. So without further ado, let's just dive into it. One of the first things that got announced over the weekend here that kind of surprised me is the announcement of a Duke Nukem movie. Now, I'm someone who actually never really played the Duke Nukem video games, but I was still very aware of their reputation, how raunchy, kind of how out-of-dated their humor is, because it can get you in trouble today. So when I heard from the Hollywood Reporter here that the Duke Nukem movie was being made from the creators of Cobra Kai, that's when my excitement went through the roof. Because I think the Cobra Kai people have done something really special with the Cobra Kai show on Netflix, and I think it's about time we see what they can do on the movie side of things, what they can bring to the table. But also, knowing the reputation of Duke Nukem and how raunchy and out there their comedy is, Cobra Kai really isn't like that. If anything, I would say Cobra Kai is pretty family friendly, still enjoyable, but pretty family friendly. So I'm going to be curious to see how they integrate some of that humor into the movie here, but it's also the type of film that could have some really cool visuals, nice action scenes. Fans are already trying to get people like John Cena part of the movie. We'll see exactly who they cast. But for you fans of Duke Nukem out there, are you excited for the Cobra Kai people to bring this property to life? Next up here, Netflix finally went ahead and gave us the official title for Knives Out 2. I was someone who was a huge fan of the first Knives Out, and then it came to a surprise when Netflix bought the rights to 2 and 3. But I guess mystery movies just do really well on their platform, and here they revealed the title to be Glass Onion, a Knives Out story. And you know what? It took me a while to understand why exactly they would call it Glass Onion. Then I remembered a quote from one of the all-time best movies ever.
Layers! Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers.
Mysteries have layers. Onions have layers. It was Shrek who did it.
You get it. We both have layers.
I think Rian Johnson is a great filmmaker, and I can't wait to see what new mystery he's cooked up, especially with the new cast. You can already look at some of these people and start to wonder who exactly did it, who exactly is safe. Everybody wants to say it was Agatha all along, but I got my eye on Edward Norton, okay? He's just always a suspect in my mind. How are you guys feeling for the title for Knives Out 2? Do you like it? And who do you think from the cast is going to be revealed to be the murderer? Another title here that was revealed out of the blue for one of the best film franchises of all time, no doubt about it. We have here the Hollywood Reporter letting us know Paddington 3 finds its director and title. Douglas Wilson will be the director, who doesn't have a lot of big credits to him, but hopefully he can nail it here. And the film will be titled Paddington in Peru. At first glance, that might seem kind of odd, Paddington going to Peru, but if you remember in the first 2 Paddington movies, they explain that is where Paddington is from. So it looks like in this 3rd installment, he's headed back home, either because he realizes I'm a wild animal, I don't belong in London, or the thing I really don't want to happen, because it'll break my heart, is his Aunt Lucille is on the verge of dying and he needs to go pay her a visit because she can't make the trip to London. But the Paddington movies have been an absolute delight. I think they're really one of the most heartwarming, fun, entertaining movies. And we're on the verge of getting a perfect trilogy with just one more movie, understanding why Paul King didn't come back. He wants to try different things, and hey, I don't blame him. Doing the Willy Wonka movie, I'm sure that's going to be good. So I have high hopes for this one. Hopefully it turns out good. How do you guys feel about the title for Paddington 3? Something else here that's been coming up in the Transformers community is, you guys know, I've been dying to see what the designs of these new Transformers are going to be for the movie Transformers Rise of the Beast. And although we did get this promotional art that shows off kind of what Bumblebee will be looking like, that really isn't that different from like the other 100 times he's appeared on screen, we did get a look at Optimus Primal. Now that next to him is not the look. That's apparently old box art that they would use on the toys for Optimus Primal. Instead, what we got are these masks for the movie that do have the logo for the new film. So what we're looking at here is Monkey Optimus Primal. This is kind of what you could expect his look to be. Even a minifigure showing off what it'll look like once it's out of its animal form. I'm kind of hoping this isn't the final painted look and maybe it's a small prototype here, because I need me some more colors on that. But it's what I expected. An ape-like mecha robot. Really was hoping we'd get some of the promotional art leaked already. But this so far is a good start. We're just curious to see how they're going to play off this Transformer movie. Is it going to be the soft reboot we're expecting? Is it just a sequel that's ignoring ignoring all the other sequels? That's where I want to throw it off to you guys. How do you feel about this look at Optimus Primal? And are you still pumped and excited for this new Transformers movie? Something that really shouldn't be a surprise to anybody is we had here Jason Blum doing an interview with Screen Rant where they asked him point blank, hey, is Halloween Ends really the end of Halloween? And to no one's surprise, he responded with, I didn't say it's going to be the last Halloween movie, it's our last Halloween movie. We have no more rights to make any more Halloween. So it goes back to Malik Akkad and what he does. Only he knows, but we are done. This is our last one, and I think people will be very happy. Now, although it might not be surprising that they said this won't be the last Michael Myers film, because everybody knows a good slasher, you can't kill him, always has 100 movies coming up. But what is surprising is this is the first time someone has actually said something positive about Halloween Ends. Because both Jamie Lee Curtis and Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers who does cameo in these films, have basically hinted at us that fans are going to be very decisive with the ending of Halloween Ends, that some of them might be a little upset because it takes a ballsy, risky approach, and Jason Blum is the first one to tell us, I think you guys will be happy. But as far as them mentioning this won't be the last Halloween movie, I gotta think they're gonna re-up the contract with Blumhouse, okay? The last couple Halloween movies have made absolutely insane bank at the box office. People go see those films and they manage to make them in a way where it doesn't feel cheap, where it does feel like a high-budget Halloween movie, but I'm just wondering how much more can they stretch this franchise. The only thing I can think of is if they get the contract and re-up to make more, they're gonna tell us Halloween stories we never knew about in between the original and this new set of films. Kind of like the flashbacks that we got in Halloween Kills, they're probably going to tell us a couple of stories like that, and I wouldn't mind it, you know? Michael Myers in the 90s or in the 80s with that classic cinematography they pulled off so well, that's where I could see them going. So I still believe Halloween Ends will probably end with Michael Myers biting the bullet, dying. But with Jason Blum saying that he doesn't think this will be the last Halloween movie, and if they get their contract back to make more, how do you think they can make more sequels? Moving on here to something I was really excited to wake up to is some more looks at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That is the animated Spider-Man movie starring Miles Morales and so many other variant Spider-Man characters. Well, they gave us the first look to one of the villains that'll be included in this movie, Spot. Now, Spot had been rumored for the longest time, but now it's official here, and he looks fantastic for the Spider-Verse animation. He's a character that's appeared in the animated Spider-Man series, some really cool sequences, and when you start thinking visually with what they can do with him, a guy who's covered in spots that also work as teleportation portals, they're gonna get really creative with these action scenes. I mean, even here, Miles is trying to kick him and he almost hits Spider-Gwen instead. This is the perfect kind of movie to introduce some of these lower level unknown Spider-Man villains, because I was seeing a lot of people going, oh, I thought that was Anti-Venom. Nah, bruh. It's Spot. Don't you disrespect Spot. Along with Spot, they also confirmed the voice casting for the Vulture in this movie, which is going to be voiced by Jorma Taccone. If you actually remember, we had gotten descriptions of footage earlier in the year at CinemaCon where Spider-Gwen will be fighting the Vulture before Spider-Man 2099 shows up in her universe and says, hey, we got to go do a mission. Let go of that guy. So I'm totally on board with Spot being the villain and him getting the limelight for once. How are you guys feeling about this inclusion in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? Moving on here to something I just really don't want to be talking about anymore. I am just so sick of controversy after controversy. It made sense to talk about it the first couple of times because it was pretty black and white. There was arrest reports, there was other witnesses there, and I always talked about it, how it affected the movies, and not trying to gossip too much about someone else's personal life. But the Ezra Miller situation continues to get even crazier and crazier to where I just don't even know what to believe anymore. The latest thing that has come up with Ezra Miller is that they have been accused of grooming a 12-year-old where their parents are saying that Ezra Miller has exposed them to some really bad influences, and even right now the court is saying Ezra Miller has gone missing and they can't find this individual to be able to give them the court summoning they need for this case where the parents are alleging Ezra Miller has essentially kidnapped their daughter. Now I'm honestly going to leave it up to you guys to do your own research because even right now there are just too many conflicting reports. Whenever this first came out with TMZ, it seemed pretty clear because they had photo evidence, a lot of detailed witnesses that Ezra Miller was in no doubt in the wrong. But then the supposed victim that Ezra Miller was hanging out with came out and said that the allegations are all false, that it's just their parents not approving of her lifestyle, being transphobic, and blowing things way out of proportion. All of this is just made clear. No way could Ezra Miller ever stay on as the Flash. They're still going to release this movie somehow, some way, because they spent too much money on it. It's going to be too expensive to change it up anyway. But after controversy and controversy, arrest, accusation from multiple different people in multiple different locations, you got to look at this stuff and go, this can't all be a coincidence. I'm someone who always likes to look at the good in someone, and I really thought there was a possibility with all this information that maybe we weren't getting the full story, and there was a reason Warner Brothers was sticking by Ezra's side. But there is only so many different incidences and accusations that can go on where it's just like, it is not worth it to have a person like this that is constantly put in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. It's just gonna affect your movie and your business. So for all you guys DMing me and tagging me wanting my opinion for the past week, that's just where I stand. No way can Ezra Miller still be the Flash after this. When the second movie comes, it'll for sure be with a different actor. But I'm someone who's still really excited to see the Flash for Michael Keaton's Batman, Sasha Calle's Supergirl, and trying to look at the movie as just Barry Allen and not the person behind a lot of this stuff. So again, for like the second and third time, hopefully this is the last time we have to deal with any more of this negative press towards the Flash, and the next updates we do about the Flash can be talking about hopefully enjoying the film as it is. But I throw it off to you guys. How are you feeling on this situation? I know everyone's going to have a different viewpoint, and as long as you remain respectful, I'm going to hear you out and listen to what you have to say. But that is all the movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movies. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.